Welcome, fellow seekers. Today, we're unpacking a single, powerful line from the Zohar to really dig into the cosmic mechanics of divine protection. And look, we're not just talking about a story or some abstract concept here. We are diving deep into a spiritual technology, one that was accessed by an ancient king when he was at the absolute lowest point of his life. And the amazing part? This technology is just as available to every single one of us today. We're going to explore how reality itself can literally be re-engineered to form a shield of living light all around you.
So our path for today follows this incredible ancient method called pardes, which means orchard. It's a way of looking at a text on 4 totally distinct levels, and each one gets deeper and deeper. We're going to start with the pshat, which is the simple, literal story of a king in some serious trouble. Then we'll move into remez, where we start uncovering the hints and the codes that are hidden inside the text. From there, we dive into drash. This is the spiritual physics, the mechanics of how it all works. And finally, we're going to arrive at sad, the secret, the practical application for our own lives. It's really a complete journey, from a dramatic moment in history to engineering your own spiritual reality.
Okay, let's dive right in. We begin on the surface with the story. But, this is no simple fairy tale. This is the story of a man in absolute peril, a moment of just complete desperation that becomes the backdrop for our entire exploration into what divine protection really is. This is the verse. Everything we're going to talk about today orbits this single line from the Psalms. The Zohar uses this verse like a key, like a master password, to unlock a massive secret about the nature of reality and our connection to the divine. And this secret, it's rooted in the life of the guy who wrote the verse, a man who knew a thing or two about needing protection, King David.
I want you to picture this. Just imagine it in stunning 4K. You see a man running for his life. This is David, but he's not a king on a throne. He's a fugitive. The hot dusts of the Judean hills is kicking up around his worn-out sandals. He's being hunted by his own father-in-law, King Saul, who's just consumed by this jealous rage. David is completely out of options, so he makes this desperate, almost suicidal choice. He runs straight into the territory of his sworn enemy, Achish, the king of Gath. Yeah, that's the hometown of Goliath, the giant David famously took down. He is literally walking right into the lion's den.
And of course, he's immediately recognized. You can hear the guards murmuring, "Wait, isn't this David, the king of the land?" The fear is just palpable. You could imagine the cold sweat on his brow as his mind is just racing. And then, in a flash of desperate genius, his entire personality just shifts. He lets spittle run down his beard. He's scratching at the city gates like an animal. He is feigning utter insanity just to survive. He's been stripped of all his dignity, his royalty, his power. He is cornered, completely alone, and more vulnerable than he has ever been in his entire life. And yet, right there, in that moment of ultimate desperation and, frankly, degradation, something totally unseen happens. The Zohar tells us that this verse, our verse, is describing that exact moment. A luminous presence, a living shield, silently and powerfully encircles him. Now, this isn't some bodyguard standing next to him. No, this is a fundamental rewrite of the reality around him. The very atmosphere seems to bend and warp around this invisible bubble of divine protection. He is literally untouchable. And it's this experience that inspires him to write the very verse we're exploring today. So that's the powerful story that sets the whole stage. But now, we've got to move from the drama to the data. We're moving from the pshat to the remez, the hint. We're going to look much closer at the architecture of that verse, because in this sacred language, the specific words chosen are never, ever accidental. They are the actual schematics for a divine technology. Now, look at this distinction here. This is our first critical clue. The scripture could have said malachav, his angels, plural. It often does when it talks about divine intervention. And that would imply, a team of specialized operatives, a squad sent on a mission. But it doesn't say that. It specifies a singular entity, Malach Adonai, the angel of the Lord. See, this isn't a committee, it's the commander. It's not an entourage, it's the presence itself. This tiny difference between singular and plural is the hint that something way more profound than a simple rescue mission is going on.
So who is this singular angel? Well, the Zohar and other mystical texts tell us that this is basically a code name. It's a specific designation for the Sephirot of Malkut, the kingdom. This is the Shekinah, the indwelling, immanent, often described as feminine, divine presence. This is the aspect of the divine that interfaces directly with our world. It's the very breath of the Creator in our reality. So David wasn't just being protected by a messenger from the divine, he was being encircled by the very presence of the divine, manifested right here in our world.
Let's try to put this in a modern context. Think of it like a computer. Those delegated angels, the plural Malakov, they're like apps. You launch an app to do a specific job, right? But the Shekinah, the singular Malak Adonai, that's the operating system's kernel itself. It's the foundational code that manages absolutely everything, wrapping the user in this layer of core fundamental protection. And that word encamps around, Saviv, it implies this isn't just a guard at the door. Oh no. This is a total, immersive 360-degree security protocol, a complete spiritual force field.
So here's the crucial point. David didn't just get a bodyguard. He got the entire system to intervene on his behalf. But how does that even work? What are the physics of this spiritual reality? This is where we get to enter the level of Drosh, the really deep dive into the cosmic engineering behind this whole phenomenon.
All right, to get the mechanics, we need a basic map of the system. In Kabbalah, the divine flows into the world through 10 emanations, or Sephirat. Think of it like this. We have Bina, the great supernal mother. You can think of her as the cosmic motherboard, the source of all potential. From there, that energy is channeled through Tiferet, often called the king, which acts like the central processor, mediating and balancing all the different energies. And then, this divine energy finally manifests in our world through Malkut, the kingdom, also called the Queen or the Shekinah. This is the user interface, our direct point of interaction with the whole divine system.
Now these Sephirat, they emanate two fundamental types of divine energy, or light. The texts call them Or Panimi and Or Makif. Or Panimi is the inner light. This is the energy we can actually process, the light that fills our soul and animates us from the inside. But there's another kind of light, Or Makif, the surrounding light. This stuff is a higher voltage, transcendent energy. It's so vast and powerful that our internal system would blow a fuse trying to contain it. So instead of filling us up, it surrounds us. It acts as an external shield, a higher consciousness, a protective buffer between us and raw, chaotic reality.
And this protection, this surrounding light, it's not just one single energy. It's this dynamic harmonization of cosmic forces. The mystics actually describe these forces with colors. You've got the brilliant white light of Kesed, that's pure, expansive, loving kindness. And then you have the intense red of Gevurah, that's discipline, strength, and strict judgment. Now, on its own, the white of pure mercy could be kind of boundless and unstructured, and the red of strict judgment could be really harsh and unforgiving. This is where Tiferet comes in, manifesting as a balancing, healing green. It acts as the great harmonizer, weaving the white of mercy and the red of judgment together into one stable, powerful, and complete protective shield.
Okay, so we have the system, the Sephirat. We have the light, the Or Makaf. We have the balanced forces of Chesed and Gevurah. But what's the activation key? How do you turn it on? What did David actually do in that dusty city gate to call down this ultimate operating system level protection?
The trigger is hidden in plain sight, right there in the verse, around those who fear him. The Hebrew word is yirah, and this is so important. This is not about being scared of punishment. Yirah is a state of profound, overwhelming awe. It's that intellectual and emotional recognition of a reality so vast, so powerful, that your personal ego just dissolves in its presence. The source text from Likutei HaHashas makes this explicit. It tells us that Mora Shamayim, or awe of heaven, is the specific state of consciousness that draws down the Mekafin, the surrounding lights. Awe is the password.
So, let's put it all together now. David, feigning madness, stripped of his royalty, his power, his dignity, he was in a state of absolute surrender. His ego was gone. All he had left was his complete and total reliance on a power infinitely greater than himself. This was the ultimate state of yirah, of awe. And this profound awe perfectly aligned his personal system, his soul, with the cosmic system. This alignment created a kind of spiritual vacuum, a space of pure potential that could only be filled by the most direct, unmediated presence, the Shekinah itself, the Ar Makif, the encircling light.
We've journeyed through the story, the code, and the cosmic mechanics. Now we finally arrive at the final level, Sod, the secret. So how do we actually use this ancient technology in our own lives? Well, first, let's explore it through a simple but really powerful analogy. Think of your life as the ultimate video game. You are the player, and your character has this special built-in ability. The key item you need to equip is awe, or yirah,
And you cultivate this by looking at a sunset, listening to beautiful music, or just feeling deep gratitude for someone you love. The spell you cast is alignment. That's the moment where you say, not my will, but yours. And the power-up, the buff you activate, is this surrounding light, the Or Makif. It's your own personal divine force field, and it's always available when you activate it.
All right, now let's shift from the analogy to what the Zohar is truly giving us, a form of cosmic engineering. This isn't a fantasy or just a nice metaphor. It's a repeatable spiritual technology with predictable results. It's a blueprint for interfacing with reality on a much, much deeper level.
So the ultimate takeaway, the blueprint for our lives, is really this. We do not have to face our challenges alone, protected only by delegated task-specific forces. By actively cultivating a state of profound awe, by practicing Yirah, we can perform a system upgrade. We can shift from being protected by messengers to being directly and completely encircled by the divine presence itself. It's all about consciously choosing to align ourselves with the very kernel of reality.
So we want to leave you with this question. If you truly and deeply integrated this reality, that an invisible but very real wall of living divine light is available to you at any moment, activated by awe, how would it change the way you live? How would it change the way you face your own challenges, your own personal King Akish? What risks would you take? What kindness would you show? What peace would you feel? If you knew, without a single doubt, that you are always surrounded.
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.